For more discussion on China-U.S. Science and Technological Agreement, joining us in Beijing, Guy Keke, a professor from the Beijing Institute of Technology, Einar Tangen, senior fellow from the Taihe Institute and chairman of Asian Narratives. Good to see both of you, gentlemen.
Pleasure.
Hi, Tianwei.
As we know, that the agreement was in urgent need to be renewed. It was postponed, the decision, until the end of August. At this moment, we did not hear any clear announcement from either side about the fate of this agreement. But before we go there, let's talk about the significance of this agreement, what this has meant for both China and the United States. Einar, from your perspective.
Well, there's been tremendous progress, especially in areas like health, agriculture, shared sciences. But you have to look at it in a kind of nuanced way. At the beginning, China was a student trying to catch up with the knowledge base that was available in the West. Around 2000, it started becoming a contributor, a co-developer of new technology that was being exchanged and developed together. But since 2010, China has actually leaped ahead. And ironically, the U.S. could benefit from sharing knowledge with China as it continues to go ahead in areas from EV batteries to 6G.
Mr. Guy, as a professor yourself, how do you see this?
Well, we all know that China-U.S. scientific and technological cooperation has spanned over 40 years. So over such a long period of time, cooperation between China and the United States has very extensive. I guess the results of collaboration between China and the United States have been impressive in many areas. For example, cooperation between China and the United States in public health and the environmental protection has played a vital role in improving human health and improving the global environment. In addition, I would like to mention 2 points. The first is that China-U.S. scientific technological cooperation has a great impact on the education, the talent, and the global scientific and technological development. We can say that under decades of scientific and technical cooperation, a large number of high-end talents have been trained and served in all walks of life. The second is a contribution to fundamental science. Actually, I think both China and the United States are beneficiary at this point, and actually the results already contribute to mankind. Thank you.
So we see 3 million Chinese students graduated from U.S. universities over the decades as a result of this agreement. Meanwhile, for the year 2021, according to some research results coming from the U.S., about a third of doctorate degrees were awarded to Chinese students or students originally coming from China, 1/3 in the United States. So certainly, there has been tremendous amount of exchanges between the two sides as a result of this agreement. And on top of that, of course, there's different layers of scientific research and cooperation between the two sides. But to both of you, what are some of the most important arguments that this agreement should continue? Einar.
Well, science is overwhelmingly, all the scientists believe that this should continue. Knowledge is not something you keep in a bottle. And you should not be conceited that all knowledge comes from one place, either east or west. It develops together. And you've seen this very, very clearly. It's not just China, but you've had students from India, from all over the world who have enriched U.S. scientific research. If you go and actually look at the names that are on these patents and filings, you'll find that the majority of them are from outside the United States. And they're names like Wong and Patel as opposed to Smith and Jones. So clearly, if we are going to solve our problems, which are myriad, especially as it deals with climate change and health, we need to have an open environment for that. Understandably, there are limits. You don't necessarily want to share very, very sensitive data, but that's not what this agreement about. It's about trying to protect scientists who are trying to advance the issues that we need to solve in order for mankind to continue on this earth.
Coco, one of the arguments coming from the U.S., at least among some, is that it was China that has been benefiting all along the way as a result of this agreement. And why should they now share with China as the two sides are becoming more in the competition mode, at least believed by the U.S. side, while China do not agree, thinks competition and cooperation should be at the same time taking place. So, Coco, how do you see those arguments?
Well, I think it's complicated. First of all, it involves like several parts. As I mentioned, like in addition to talents exchanges on fundamental science, I think we actually have a lot of work to do. For example, like China-U.S. scientific and technological cooperation already helps us address like a lot of common challenges together. Well, in addition, I think China-U.S. scientific and technological cooperation is very important to scientific and technological innovation. For example, we see that the AI large model is very popular now. In fact, for a long time, China and the United States have contributed a lot of like theoretical innovation and promoted the development of AI. Well, China has a huge AI market, like application needs. So, for example, the verification and the implementation of technology are equally important to the United States. I mean, actually, we can help each other at this point. Finally, I think there's no doubt that China-U.S. Technological cooperation has a visible role in promoting economic development. Like technical cooperation has like promoted the emergence of the many new products and even like many new emerging industries. So all this, I think we have like very strong motivation to continue the cooperation.
As far as I understand, there have been quite a number of open source, shall I say, projects that's going on originally from the United States, that's all over, open to worldwide. Of course, China also as the second largest runner to the United States in that regard also has been arguing about opening source. So I don't understand whether this is related to science and technology agreement, which is mainly working on basic science and other things and educational exchange, or this is more about business decisions, which we see, for example, in the valley, you see a lot of discussions about this. This is more like a business decision, as long as there's no intervention coming from the government so far.
Oh, I guess there's something related to the agreement because, like, even for open source projects, it consists of like different types. Some are for like research-based projects, and some are for business. If we consider that like universities, actually we already participate in a lot of open source-based projects. That's most of them are research based or research oriented.
So, Einer, Coco's argument is that, particularly when we are entering into a new age of technology, such as artificial intelligence, designing standards, co-developing projects, taking great advantage of opening source, and also nurture the talents related to AI, all requires cooperation between China and the United States, which can be based on this science and technological agreement that need to be renewed. Do you agree?
Well, it's not just China and the United States. It's a worldwide issue. This statement, this idea that somehow China has benefited and the U.S. hasn't. Well, then half of all the patents I was referring to are being filled by foreigners, not U.S. people. That has been a long-standing issue. So the U.S. has benefited. ASPI, the Australian group, very, very critical of China, has said that China's ahead on 85% of all of the critical future technologies. This would seem like an opportunity for the U.S. to benefit from working with China. There's clear lines that you have politicians who know little about science on one side trying to make policies where the scientists themselves have said clearly in areas like, as you were mentioning, sharing data and things like this, that it is absolutely necessary.
What is the relationship between, quote unquote, so-called national security vis-a-vis cooperation and agreements like this about science and technology between China and the United States? Your thoughts, Einar?
Well, you have to remember all advancements in knowledge is a two-edged sword. Nuclear energy can provide cheap electricity, or it can be used to destroy people and countries. The idea that you suddenly shut down advanced thinking and research simply because it could be used in a bad way doesn't make any sense, because you need it to solve the problems that you have. So obviously, every country has issues. If they have something about long-range radar or something related to defense, they're not going to share that. But the United States has come out through their departments, and they said, look, the research that has benefited most has nothing to do with defense. It has to do with health, energy, the environment, agriculture, things that we all need. So it's stupid to say that somehow this is interfering in the ability of countries to protect themselves. Quite the contrary. It is the only way in which we can go forward and save, a world which is in real crisis right now. I mean, people should understand that the hot weather doesn't come because, this is the end of the ice age.
Well said, Ke.
It depends on what area we are working on. Sometimes we want to protect the technology from other people. But it for common challenges the environment, the power, the agriculture, I think in most situations we can work together.
After all, China and the United States are among the two of the strongest science and tech powers of the world. If the two do not work together, what kind of message is it sending to the rest of the world? And the impact of that cannot be necessarily only articulated now. I guess it will be felt all over the world. But for now, I want to thank both of you for your contribution. Einar Tangen, Ke. Thank you so much.